Hey folks, Carl here and welcome to episode 4 of Tamiya's Matilda. Okay folks, so we've been away from this kit for a while. This is where we are up to. We were working on the upper hull. All the lower hull was finished, so tracks and bogies and all that kind of stuff are in there. I'm gonna work out where we're up to and we're gonna continue building. So talk to you in a second. Okay folks, so there wasn't a huge amount to finish there. All we've gone and done is we've got those two front panels in there. We've actually taken the nubs off these lifting eyes and smoothed those off. We've also done nothing with that. What we have done is we've stripped all the bits off, the exhaust at the back, a few wheels that were on, so that part is now ready for paint. Didn't add anything extra to this. Everything we are putting on there is on there. There's still tools and stuff to put on, but we're not putting those on because we are painting those separately. We've also completed the lights, and again, we're going to put these on separately. Reason being, I will knock these off if we put them on, and they'll probably be painted separately. So that is all of that in the box. So what are we moving on to next? Oh, there was the little things to put on the side skirts as well at the front, but we aren't anywhere near doing any of that stuff at the moment. So we are on to the turret, and it looks like we start off by building the cupola for the captain and getting the door and all that stuff on, and then we are on to the mantlet for the gun itself. So yeah, let's get this started. So most of the turret stuff is here, but there is quite a bit on here as well. We've got the captain's cupola here and all the other bits and pieces. So we're going to get all this stuff stripped off, get it out of the way, and we'll be back in a minute. Okay folks, so we have been working on the commander's cupola. As you can see, a few parts. The ring part came in two sections, then we got the two hatches, and we got the two, it looks like hydraulic pistons or something like that for holding them open. A little bit awkward, not difficult. Went together really quite well. So there are two options. You can have it either open or closed. I was hoping you could do both, but you don't get the second part of the closed because it actually goes on to here, which is a bit of a shame because we could have possibly left this unglued and swapped it around as we saw fit for it to be open and closed. So that would have been nice to have the option of both, but hey, there we go. As you can see, we've started to put the gun together. We've glued the main part of the gun into place. It just literally pushes into a hole in there. I flooded it with glue just so it filled in the very small gap that was there as well. We've got the main mantlet cover. We've got the machine gun. Now this part is going to be a little bit difficult as well because we've got our grommets out. This part is going to sit inside of here. The gun goes through this hole like so. So it looks just like that. And then our grommets are going on the edge here. And then these caps are going over the top of the grommets However, this then glues into this mantle cover like so. Yeah, and it's able to rock up and down, so you can change the position of the gun. So we're going to have to be particularly careful where we glue these parts to, so we can still move, but it's held in place. So that's where we're up to. Now, I was looking through the rest of the manual. I thought there was quite a little bit left, but it is literally now just putting all of the greeblies onto the turret. And that is it. We are done. We will be in to paint. So I'm going to finish getting this gun together. If this does show to be particularly awkward, this part of getting these glued in, I shall record again and we'll show you where it needs to be glued. But looking at it, it is quite self-explanatory. So I'll carry on and I shall talk to you all in a bit. Okay, folks, so your grommet. Right, so let me just put this, no, I'll put that away in a moment. So on the instructions, it shows you to put the grommets onto these little pins here and here. Don't do that, okay? I've just snapped the gun off here. I've just glued it back on, trying to push these parts onto there with the grommet on. Best thing to do, because these are fiddly and awkward to hold on to. Push your grommets into here. Yeah, it's still quite difficult to do and quite awkward. I ended up having to get a pair of tweezers and using the flat edge to actually push and force them into place. And then it was still pretty awkward. One flirted off at 100 miles an hour in that direction. Thankfully, it hit something and I was able to find it quite quickly. So those grommets are phenomenally tight and awkward to get in. Put them into these parts first and then it'd be easy to just slide them on to those parts, he says, there, like so. Yeah, not the other way around. If you try and force that onto the grommet that's sitting on there, you'll end up pushing, pulling, tugging. And like I say, I snapped that gun off there. I've literally just glued it back into place right on there. Now I've got to wait for that to dry so we can finish building that part up. So grommet to there, not on there. Right, I'm going to carry on once that's had time to dry. So I'll talk to you shortly. Okay, folks, I've zoomed in a little bit here just so you can see that is it all in place. These are now pushed on to and in position. So if you look at the mantlet cover, one side is quite shallow, the other sides are quite a bit more sloped. So we're going to be putting the more sloped part at the top. So the machine gun goes on the left as you look at it. So that's the right way around. So we're going to slide it through. And as you can see, this now pushes those at the end. So this will move, I just hold it there, up and down, he says. There we go. So obviously it's not glued in place yet. So the only part we are going to want to glue, okay, is going to be, okay, a tiny little groove right on the edge. If I get something to point with, this will do quite nicely. The only part we are going to want to glue is across that edge there. Okay, so when it's pushed in place, small amount of glue there, and of course the same on the other side there and there, because we don't want to tie up that mechanism with glue. So this will move up and down. Okay, so just be careful with that and watch out for it. So I am going to get a very small amount of glue on my brush. And we are, like I say, touch there, touch there. Repeat on the other side. push it into place. It's a small touch, small touch. Give it a push. And then leave it be for a good half an hour just to let it set solid. So that when we do come to move it, nothing snaps off. So, a last little push. So, we shall put that gun section to one side, and we will start to get, let me zoom out, we'll start to get the main part of the turret built itself, these parts, and of course we are then onto the last page. So, I'm going to start doing that. Again, any issues or problems, we will start recording. So, talk to you in a moment. Okay, folks, so we are moving on. So this is now all glued together and in place. I'm still going to give it a bit more time before I start moving it because it is still a little bit wet here, but it does now move. So it is quite stiff though, so I want to give this plenty of time to dry properly. So we've taken the bottom part of the turret itself, and there's a couple of what are probably supposed to be seats glued in place there. You're probably going to find that the commander stands on one of these as he's popping his head up through the hatch here. So instructions state to drill out several holes, 1 millimeter. So we've done that. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This one is angled downwards, and we've got a 7th on top here. Not sure what they're all for yet, but I'm sure we will find out as we start to put all the greeblies into place on this. So we are moving on. Like I say, that is literally it. There's quite a lot of stuff left on this sprue that I'm not sure what it is. There's this great big fuel tank here, so I might build that up as well, see where it goes. But like I say, there is lots of little bits. See, some of this is going onto the turret itself. We've got the bags here. It doesn't show you where to put them or anything like that. So yeah, we've got quite a lot left. We have quite a lot left on the sprue still to build. Not so much on these guys. So we will see what we've got left once we finish following the instructions. We'll see what we've got left and see what else we can add onto the tank. So I'm going to carry on and talk to you very shortly. Okay, folks, so we have finished the turret. Nothing overly difficult, nothing say overly hard, or some little fiddly pieces. This little thing on the back here was quite fiddly. It went on quite well. Again, we had a hole here that was not needed for some reason, unless I've missed something, which I don't think I have. So we put a little bit of filler in there. We're going to let that dry completely, and then we'll probably add a little bit more and try and mask it up. So yeah, turned out quite nice. It is quite a nice little turret. It helps if I've got teeth in when I'm talking. So yeah, that is pretty much the build complete. I'm just reaching over and getting up a hole. Obviously, we've still got jewellery to put on here. We're just going to drop this in just to see what that looks like. So, looking pretty nice at the moment. So, I'm liking that. So yeah, We've got two pieces of track which we're going to paint separately when we paint the tracks themselves. That have got to be stuck onto the front of here. And then we've got all the tools and stuff to put on there as well. But other than that, that is the build complete. So we have that part. And of course we have the lower hull, which is again all complete. We also have, obviously, two tracks which are all done, ready to be painted, of course. And then we've got a lot of greebly bits and pieces in the box. We've got our headlights are still on there. We've got all our bogies and wheels. Exhaust system, which are all, of course, going to be painted separately. And that is pretty much the build done. Like I said earlier on, we still have some bits on the sprues, quite a few. We've got these, looks like tarps there. We've got a couple of pieces of exhaust here that connect the exhaust part I've just shown you that sits on the back of there up to the exhaust, obviously on the back of the upper hull there. So they've got to come off and be painted, and then we'll try and glue them on afterwards. We've got this tank here, which I'm not sure what it is. So I might build that up off camera. Let's see what it is. And then, of course, we've got the sides here, which have got a little piece to be glued in at the fronts. There's no point showing you that on camera. We've got two figures. We've got the commander and the driver to build up as well. So I'm not sure if we'll build them and paint them. I haven't painted a figure for a while. I'm not a great figure painter. And then, of course, we've got loads of other sprues with bits and pieces still on there. These I don't think we're going to need at all. So some more spare bits of track. You never know, we might use them, put them somewhere on the tank. Might take a look at some reference pictures, and then on the A sprues, we've got quite a few bits and pieces, very small bits and bobs left on there. But as far as the instructions are concerned, we are finished. So with that done, I know this hasn't been a long episode, but there wasn't a huge amount left to do. We are going to get everything prepped and ready for the spray booth, get everything base coated or primed, whichever way you want to do it. So yeah, we're going to call this video here. So thank you very much for watching, and as always, be good, be safe, and keep making models, and we'll see you next time. Ta-ta.